Latino music to be music that speaks to your heart and like lets you learn more about your culture.
Anything that has like a strong sense of vibration, like everything's so vibrant in the music, that's Latino music.
Is like rancheras, like Vicente Fernandez, some Ana Gabriel, Juan Gabriel, like mariachi shit.
But Omar, I would consider him to be one of my favorite like Latino artists because he has different kinds of music. Not only it's all in Spanish or just English. He has both Spanish and English, you know. And he helped me a lot when I first got to meet my brother. We had that in common, so it helped us relate to it.
To Rafi Pagam on like Sundays when I'm drinking a beer, you know, that living the old school kind of life, and it takes me him and his music. It takes me to a whole nother like world. You know, I'm actually happy in the world that we live in because his music is such a vibrant, you know, feeling, and you're just surrounded by your family, and it's just the best feeling ever.
Is Jenna Rivera, and she has helped me through her music because her music is mostly like directed towards men and how much of assholes they are and how they screw us over and make us cry and all this shit. But she doesn't say, "Oh, cry, bitch." No, she doesn't say that. She says, "Dust off your shoulders and keep moving." That's the type of person that she's always been.
People who love to dance and this and that, you know, have fun and everything, but it's not always the case, you know. A lot of people considered Latinos to have like parties and have corridos and all this music, as in like Ramon Ayala and all those things, you know. And they think it's all about the drinking, but in reality it's about having a good time with the family.
Latinos are portrayed as they just want to party, do some coke, and just, you know, drink tequila all the time. And that's the way people see it, and it's not, you know, like that. They just need to listen to the music further.
In my personal opinion, from what I hear on the radio, there's basically just narco corridos out there being played, and you know, and it's promoting violence. It's portraying this idea that glamorous lifestyle of narcos, you know, and that's all that's going on right now in Mexico, like the drug lords and all that stuff, and people don't even want to go to Mexico. And I feel like the media is just like, there's mostly just songs about that right now, and there isn't really like any good songs like how it was back then. And so they're just being portrayed as like thugs, I guess you could say, with like not really any morals.
I think Selena is one of the most important people in the Latino industry. The day that she was killed, not only it wasn't just a tragedy in just like her family or like from her origins. It was more of a worldwide tragedy. A lot of her music was the kind of music where if you didn't really talk to somebody in your family or something, you heard the music and it just made you get up and dance, and you would have a better bond with your family.
Marc Anthony is a big idol in the Latin community, and so as well as, you know, the American community. He kept to his Latin roots, but then also brought it to America. You know, spoke English yet Spanish as well, you know, in some of his songs, and I really admire that, and I know that a lot of other people admire that he kept to both, so he benefited both societies. Like both.
Once again, Jenna Rivera, because she opened a lot of doors for Mexican women to feel comfortable with themselves. Because usually in media, what do you see? Skinny twig bitches twerking and all this stuff. And they're the ones that get this fame. And she wasn't a skinny twiggy bitch. No, she was thick and she was pretty and she was Mexican, and you know, she didn't give a fuck, and everybody loved her for that. And she was the first Mexican female artist to sell out the Nokia Center, which is now known as the Staples Center, I think, in LA. And she also always gave back to her community, always thanked her fans. She would go to homeless shelters and feed, you know, women that used to be drug addicts, have nowhere to go, or for Thanksgiving, she even gave out turkeys, and she's always done stuff to give back to her, Latin community.
Before Latino music started to come here in the United States, people didn't really pay attention to Latinos or anything. They thought, oh, Latinos are this, they're low. After Latino music started to come out, it encouraged a lot more people to start learning the language as well as the culture. And now you look at United States, it's a multicultural place. You don't only see like people who speak English. Nowadays, you need people who speak Spanish. Mm-hmm. You need a lot of people with the heart of a Latino.
Latinos have kept to their culture, brought it into the U.S. and mixed it with the American music industry, but yet kept the whole, Latino, ways of portraying, their life and happiness, and they just put it through the music, and Americans, heard it and they're like, what is this music? I just wanna just get down, It's a happy feeling. It's good.
Latin music has impacted the United States in forming a bridge, like, bringing two different cultures together. For example, like Drake and Romeo Santos, and like how, all the Mexican or all the Latin girls like get like crazy over Romeo Santos, and obviously all the American girls are like crazy over Drake. And so this brought two different, type of girls together, like that listen to two different genres or from two different, countries, and like it connected, like a whole audience. And like now people are probably like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Romeo Santos, or oh, I'm gonna listen to Drake. So, it kind of like it formed a bridge, like of two different cultures.
That they are more passionate of their job and stuff. They talk more about the culture. They talk more about how lives used to be and how hard it was to grow up. They talk about families who unite.
A whole downward spiral when you have Kanye West and all these other new, these brand new artists, and it's not music. It's just more like, let's just get fucked up like this and turn up, and Latinos are not like that. They put the music and everything they talk about the life. They talk about, their problems back home. They talk about where they want to go in life, and exploring the world and how they want to, peace. Yeah, like Pitbull. He's a good example. I mean, he has been Americanized, but he's still on that bring everybody together, conquest.
I feel like Latin artists have, a disadvantage. Even within the Latin, like, community, you could tell, like, that women have a harder time to, find success. So imagine coming to United States where, Latins aren't really welcome. Like, people here are racist, whether you want to admit it or not. So there's going to be some type of, favoritism with American artists, because you're from here, obviously. Like, they're going to like you better than somebody that's not from here. It's just how it's always been.
I think that the Latinos, when they started off with their music, they were so into their culture, so into everything that they loved and everything that they want to achieve. But as they started to join the American side, they started to lose their values. They started to lose their culture. They still have it, but they don't promote it as much as they used to anymore. It's something that we need so we can embrace that culture, embrace our lives and everybody else's lives, so we can be connected as one in our culture.
To me, like Shakira, she crossed over from her music in Colombia, and she was so strong. And I remember my mom, she's white, but she can dance to the old Shakira music, But when Shakira got more into American industry, she just Americanized herself and just lost touch of her, you know, Latin ways and her Latin roots, and everything now is more English.
I think anybody coming into the United States has to lose some part of their identity because you're coming here to, you know, create your dream. And some people might see that as like, oh, you know, you're putting down your roots or whatever, you're forgetting where you come from. And a lot of artists do that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that because, you know, they're achieving their dream in a way they can, and they're just, you know, evolving into the person that they're meant to be. And people change, you know. Here you have to change your culture, you have to change your customs, you have to change everything because everything here is so, like, it's different from other countries. Here you have a voice, here you have, you know, far more rights than you do in other countries. So obviously, who the fuck wouldn't want to, like, you know, mold themselves into this culture, whereas, you know, you're nobody in other countries. You're striving, like, to just survive. So I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing. Yeah, people, you're gonna lose where you come from when you come to the United States. That's just how it is. You have to adapt.